What up? What up? Welcome to the Continual Growth Podcast, where we help you kill every day and own your fucking life. I'm Bawanka. We got a special guest here today, filling in for Z. Sturminator in the house.
Yo, man, it's good to be back on the podcast. It's been a while. Things have changed, the lights, the cameras, but I'm excited. I'm loving it. I'm ready to talk about, share, and discuss about today's topic. So, speaking of that, what are we talking about today, man? What's good?
Today. So first, I wanna tell the people a little bit more about you, because Stur's already been on once before. He was on episode 16. Now we're at episode 30. Yeah. So we gotta bring that fire again and give the people a little bit more, because I know last time you really went back and you told everybody about
for sure
how everything's been, your travels, just everything you've been experiencing.
Yeah, man, for sure. It's been a while. We're on what, 30 now?
Yeah, 30.
16. So, we're growing so much. It's been amazing to see the guests on the podcast, to see you and Z talk about all these different topics that are so important. And I'm just excited to be, part of that and talk about today's topic. So I think we should let the people know what we're talking about and get right into it.
Okay. So today is all about a sense of direction. Mm-hmm. Basically, just knowing where you want to go, because once you know where you want to go, it becomes way easier to get there.
Absolutely. I think this topic we can go on forever on this topic. We're going to do our best to obviously break it down and talk about some important things. But when I think about the sense of direction, I also think about where we have to go, where we're headed. But at the same time, we got to think about where we're at now and assess that. So I think that'll be a part that I'm going to talk about a little bit too. But maybe you can start off and talk about what that means to you. Even from the beginning, when you were younger growing up, did you ever think that, I need a sense of direction because this is what's going to help me, progress?
No, man. Basically, as just growing up, I just all I cared about was basketball. When basketball stopped, I'm like, all right, well, let me get money. All I thought about was the key is getting money.
Yeah.
Right. And I remember I was working one of my first real serious jobs is overnight shift. And I was at home at this time. I lived in my mom's basement, and nothing in that basement had changed for a long time. I looked around and I'm like, I got a desk that's been in the exact same place for so long. I got a TV that I always watch, on top of a dresser, and I'm like,
so nothing was really changing.
Nothing was really changing. And I saw this video, and it's basically just talking about life. Yeah. And at the end of this video, I'm like, man, the most important thing about life is just having fun. I looked at my life in the past, and I'm like, what do I enjoy about life? And it was whenever I'm happy, having fun, and just trying to live my best life. Yeah. That was when I was enjoying things.
That's crazy that you said that. I think I feel the same way too. When I've been the happiest, I mean, a lot of the times that I've had a lot of fun and felt like I'm having, joy in my life was from when I was in high school. It's weird because a lot of people didn't necessarily have a great high school career, but I loved high school. I think I owe a big part of that to playing basketball, and you were part of it, obviously, having that partnership and teamwork with all those guys and being disciplined and doing all these things. I felt like it was rewarding to actually do all that work. And then after high school, man, I lost it. I lost that sort of joy. I was kind of blindly following the path that we're all supposed to follow. And I wanted a little bit to take some time to talk about how I thought all these things were right.
Yeah. But I feel like one of the things about school, why you feel like you're having fun, is you're growing the whole entire time. You're learning new things, having new experiences, and you keep going up a level every single year.
True.
And then you get into the real world, and everything stops. You don't have that same pattern that you've been following every single year.
Yeah, and it's true. We're never really prepared for that in school. I mean, I have no knock on school. I think what it helped me do mostly is learn how to study, and be disciplined in that aspect. But it didn't really get me ready for the outside world. I had no sense of direction coming out of high school. And I thought that was okay. I thought, after a year or two in university, once I can specialize in something, then I'll be all right. Yeah. But again, back to what I was saying before, I kept thinking that I was doing the right thing, even far after that when I got into corporate life and all that stuff. But I didn't feel like I was doing the right
thing. So you're like, yo, I'm doing it, but it's not.
Yeah,
I don't got
there's
that
no
feeling.
fulfillment. So I always like to think about it now. Like it's feeling over thinking. In this case, is so important.
So were you having fun
after high school?
Yeah.
No, I thought I was. You know, not really. It didn't feel good. Like I was working. I was getting paid well. I was working jobs that not a lot of people could get, especially when I moved to Rwanda at that time.
Yeah.
But it didn't. No, I wasn't having fun. I was constantly thinking like, am I doing the right thing? Where what's going on? Why don't I feel happy? But on the outside, looking in, it looks like everything is good. So
okay. It was. So let me go back to where I was before. So at this time when I made that decision, like I just gonna look for joy and look for having fun. Mm-hmm. This is when I was like 20 years old, right? I didn't write anything down. I didn't know about goals and writing shit down.
Yeah.
But I was just like, I'm just gonna make this conscious decision to whatever I'm doing. Like, doesn't matter how bad it is. It's like if I have to do something, I gotta do something. Mm-hmm. And my goal is I'm gonna try and have as much fun as I can doing it. Right. So like I worked lots of labor jobs that were garbage. Like there would be millions of things to complain about. Yeah. But somehow me and the guys, we'd be out there, we'd be laughing, and we'd still find a way to have fun, even though we're doing the worst job. And that's where it goes. Like, it's all about perspective, like how you look at things and how you handle things.
Did you ever have a time where, like, even though you were doing all that work and having fun, were you ever like, well, what's next? Like, what's going to be the next thing? Because I mean, you mentioned it, I think, in previous podcasts too, where it was one of the most dangerous jobs you've working in the oil rig. So you knew at some point, like, yo, I can't be doing this for too long.
Yeah, right? Like I had my end date from, like, I knew this is not the life for me. I had my end date. Mm-hmm. I didn't know like what I was gonna do, but I knew like I want to do something that I enjoy more. So
you must have figured out something. You must have figured out what it is you want to do, or maybe why you want to do it, or how you're gonna do it. Because how do you just go from being on the rigs, no real sense of direction, and then all of a sudden you're like, all right, man, things have to change, and then this is how I'm going to do it in order to get there. Mm-hmm, you know what I mean?
So that all started when I started, like, when I decided, like, I actually wrote goals down. Because I've always been a guy that says, like, I got goals, I always have, but I never wrote them down. They weren't real goals.
Yeah.
And the day I wrote them down, and the day I started, like, reading them out loud, saying them to myself, like, every single day that you say it, the more you feel it. And as I started, like, I keep track of my accomplishments now too. Like, a goal turns into an accomplishment.
Yeah.
So every single time I complete a goal, I add it to accomplishments.
That's a really good exercise.
And that gives you so much confidence to be able to know, like, I wrote this down. Soon I'm gonna be able to do whatever it is that I wrote down, and I'm gonna make it like
an accomplishment.
I'm gonna make it an accomplishment.
Yeah, that's awesome. And like, I wanted to talk a little bit about what you just mentioned in terms of goals. You were talking about writing goals and reading them. I think for me, I had a little story that I wanted to remind people of that I talked about on episode 16 about me setting my goals. I think this was my turning point in my growth journey, where there was a phone call that you and I had. This was February 2017. I remember it perfectly. And, you hit me up and we were just catching up like, normal. We hadn't talked for a long time. And then you asked me about if I had goals.
Do you have goals?
So the same way you just mentioned, I thought I had goals. They were very vague. I think I listed like 5 things. One of them was probably like, want to buy a house for my mom. What I mean?
These are all the goals that we've heard. Like, this is what, just like the same way.
Exactly.
Work this job and it'll make you happy. Have this goal, complete this, and it's going to make you happy.
But I think there was something, I don't know what it was. There was something inside that felt like I needed to challenge myself, and you obviously sparked that. So eventually I did do that. I wrote my goals down. And then the next time we spoke, I read them out to you, which was also the first time I ever did anything like that. So
it was hella uncomfortable.
Oh my God, it was one of the most uncomfortable, because I had to be vulnerable and show you that, hey, this is something I've never done, but I'm gonna do it because I know you care.
But that right there, what you just said, vulnerability, that is the key to growth. Yeah. When you make yourself vulnerable, you put yourself in a compromising position. Yeah. That's where you have the greatest chance to grow.
That's true. Being comfortable with uncomfortable. Yeah, I love that, man. That's amazing. So, yeah, I mean, going back to it again, like that's how I settled it. I think with starting goals. That's where, when we talked about in the beginning, a sense of direction is where you're headed, but also where you're at now. Mm-hmm. So I think when I wrote my goals down, it helped me assess the situation that I'm in now, and then maybe it gave me the path to building positive habits that could help me achieve the goals that I've set. So
yeah, because you just figured out like where you actually want to go. It's easy if you just say, I want to go you can even just talk about like, I want to go to the store. But you don't really want to go. You need to go to the store. Maybe not I want to. I need to go to the store. Like, it's something you know you need to do.
Yeah.
And you don't write it down. You could let it slip for so long. But the moment you write it down, it becomes real. And if you write it down and say like, I have to do it by this time, it becomes even more real. And now when someone asks you, yo, what are you doing right now? Yo, I got to go to the store. I got to get this. I got a time when I got to get it done by.
Yeah, you've prioritized your habits in your life, basically. So I had a question now. What if someone comes up to you and they ask you, they're like, they feel like, or they think that they're doing everything right, but maybe they don't feel that way too, and now they're lost and they want to get started. What would you say to that person? How do I get started?
How do you get started, man? The first thing you gotta do is you gotta know what you want. And when you know what you want, then you write it down.
Right.
And once you write it down, you look at it, and that's how you're gonna make your goals. You're gonna make your goals according to what you want.
Right.
And as you start saying them every day, even in the beginning, it doesn't matter, who you are. When you write down your goals, it's gonna be hard to say them. You're not gonna like act like you believe them when you're saying them.
Yeah.
But every single day, as you start working and getting closer to these goals, you start being like, shit, man, I'm getting closer. I'm making progress. This goal could become true. And then when you finally get that goal and you move it to the accomplishments, you're like, damn, I did what I said I'm gonna do.
Yeah, and you know what? I mean, a lot of the stuff you're talking about right now is amazing, especially for someone to use on themselves. Like it sounds like a lot of affirmations and positive self-talk, which is amazing. But I think another part too is the accountability part. This is something that we've done together too in different things where, we can write or maybe share our goals out loud together.
Yeah.
Or read maybe something that we said that we're going to do and why we're going to do it. And, I feel like people need to start thinking about that too. Maybe get an accountability partner. Look for mentors. These are people who are going to hold you to those things. Because I can say I want to do all these things. I can write them down, but we always need that pressure. We need that little.
At the end of the day, you can have people help holding you accountable, but at the end of the day, it comes down to you and like what you want to do. And when you get like a 21's board and you have the 21's board looking in your face every day and it says, read my goals out loud.
That becomes that.
That's your accountability partner. That's where you see it every day and it's like, read my goals out loud. Did I do it?
Yeah.
Have I given myself a check?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's a great tool to start with. We also have the 5-step guide to setting goals. Like if you don't know where to start, go on our website, download the 5-step guide to setting goals, and that's gonna help a lot too.
That's definitely a good exercise to use. But I think another thing that I wanted to talk about is because so many people, there's so many ways we can go with this conversation about sense of direction. But one thing too is you got to understand that wherever you're going, it's going to be a journey. It's going to take time. It's not a sprint, right? It's a marathon. So what does that require? Patience. You have to understand, again, that the situation that you're in now is probably not where you want to be. Obviously, that's why you're setting goals and trying to work towards, growing and getting better. So you got to be patient with that process. Where you're at now, look at yourself. Step outside of yourself, take a look and say, oh my God, like I need work to do. But don't expect it to just, happen in a month or two or maybe a year. It could take a long time, but understanding that patience is key in this whole process, it's only going to help you.
I love how you brought it back to a journey.
Yeah.
Because your life it's really a journey. Like if you're signed up for a marathon, I know a lot of people probably haven't done a marathon, but a marathon is 42 kilometers, right? If you go into this marathon and you just fucking sprint, probably after like not that long, probably like 2-3 kilometers, you're going to be puking, laying on the ground, not going anymore.
You're finished, man.
And you're going to believe, I can't finish this, right? That's one of the big problems of just starting at 100%. You know what I mean? Instead of taking those steps is you're going to fail. When you start at 100%, your chance of failing is like, it's very high. And when you fail, you lose confidence.
Yeah. And that's the thing too, like with going back to we're tying this all together, but goals too, it's the same thing. Like when I started my goals, when I wrote my goals down, man, they changed a lot as I was going through them. But again, you have to be patient. You have to try something out for long enough to see whether it's what you actually want in the end or not. And then you can adjust. Because a lot of people are probably thinking too, like, man, I have all these goals, or I have just these 5 goals, and I don't even know how. I don't think they're gonna work. They're not working for me right now. That's okay to fail, like you said. I think you gotta fail fast. That's the key. Fail fast. The faster you fail, the faster you'll get to success.
Yeah,
that's simple as that.
Yeah. So you it's been like 1 year since you changed your sense of direction. How much has your life changed?
Man, drastically, and more mentally than anything, because that's the toughest part. Doing things, obviously, like you got to be active, you got to get out and do it. But I think my mindset has changed so much. That's been my biggest kind of transformation, is the fact that I understand now that, it's only up to me, and it's up to my thoughts, my actions as well. But also, I need to feel like what I'm doing is right. Yeah. That was my problem. I thought everything was good. Yeah. I could. My environment was...
So you weren't self-aware.
Exactly, yeah. That's what I was leading to. I was leading to self-awareness. My environment at the time of me kind of going through this stagnant period was looking like everything was all right. Everything was clicking, and from the outside looking in, you could see, I'm doing well. But then in the inside, man, I wasn't self-aware. I wasn't actually looking at my unconscious habits that were taking me away from my goals.
So then you started being the one who's like, I'm gonna hold myself accountable.
Yeah, and exactly. I gained control more than anything. I gained so much control, and I think over the last year, that's probably the biggest thing. I've gained so much control by working on myself that now I feel like, whatever task is coming up, I understand that it's gonna take a while. There's gonna be a journey. I'm gonna fail, but I'll get there. So I think that's been the biggest thing, and again, it's a sense of direction. I know where I'm going now. That's why it's that much easier. That's it.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to just give the people, tell them a little bit about you before. Because I remember one time you had a competition. It was like it was a weight loss competition.
Oh, I remember this.
Right?
Yeah.
You started strong. 100% in the beginning. It was you and 3 other guys. Yeah. You started strong. You were killing it. I'm like, all right, get it, stir. But you might want to take some breaks. Yeah. But you went 100% and you fell off.
Yeah.
Right? And that was just a time where you quit, and it probably made you feel like, this is hard for me, right?
Sure.
But now we can bring it back. We can bring it back to where we are now, because I remember you started a Rubik's Cube.
Mm-hmm.
You started a Rubik's Cube, right?
I do it every day, man. I love it. Yeah, I love it now. I didn't love it.
I watched your whole process. I seen you get to those points where it was like, this is hard, and I remember you put it on pause. You put it on pause, and it was like, this is hard, but I'm getting better. Like, you could still see your progress, but you put it on pause, and then when you came back to it, like, you went hard at it, and you accomplished what you wanted to do.
Yeah,
and that's how you build confidence.
I was just about to say, I think through the first competition that you mentioned, where it was me and a few friends, we were trying to lose weight. And even the Rubik's Cube, the biggest thing was confidence, and I lacked so much of it. I think it's something that I continue to work on daily, but that's been the biggest thing, I think, through a lot of the troubles that I've had in life, just regular things that everybody goes through. But when it comes to that, like when there was a time where I went through a really good weight loss, and it was incredible, and it was confidence. It was when I lack confidence, or when most people lack confidence, they feel like, there's doubt. There's that doubt. There's that fear to fail. You don't want other people, and that's the thing. It's other people. You don't want other people to look at you a certain way. But
and even right now, like, you're on your fitness tip. Like, I've never seen you consistent with fitness until back when we played basketball, which was like 10 years ago. But right now, like, you're killing it, man. You looking mean.
Yeah, man. Thank you, man.
I'll flex or something, man. You see stars out here working.
But I think I owe it to, obviously, my confidence has grown, but also my mindset has changed. Like, before, I don't think, and Z talks about this a lot. We talk about it. Motivation is bullshit. Mm-hmm. You don't need that, right? I want to live, and I want to live a good life. So what do I need to do to do that? And that's where my mind is now. So I understand again that, man, there's going to be times where I'll go a whole month where maybe I'm like, why am I even doing this? Why am I getting up to go for these walks early in the morning? Why am I working? Why am I boxing every Friday? That happens still. But again, it goes back to your sense of direction. Where do you want to go? I know where I want to go now, and I know where I'm at now. So it makes that easier. Although, like, I can go through lulls where, like, 2 days I'm like, that was ridiculous. Like, or I didn't do anything. Like, why am I not working on my habits?
Yeah, but you get your goals holding you accountable.
Exactly. So I think that's been the biggest thing, man. My confidence, And for everyone too who's trying to find a sense of direction, confidence is key. And it's not, you're not born with it, you build it. So you build it by doing a lot of these things that we're talking about, right? Small actionable steps and consistency. Consistency helped me so much because, and of course, the more you do something over and over again, it becomes habit. So now I have a habit of understanding like that when I'm not doing something right, I'm gonna fall off. So I got to get back on, whether it's the 21s board I'm using, whether it's my GSD list. I got to stay on top of it. So that's where I'm at now, and it's working, man. I'm
sick. Yo, it's hella good to see all your growth, see everything that's happening, see how trim you're looking.
Yeah, man.
It's amazing. All right, okay. So what we need you to do, we need you guys to subscribe. We need you to tell a friend, like share it with your friends. If you like this, if this is helping you out, like do us a favor, do your friends a favor. Like the whole goal of this is for everyone to grow together. Like if something is helping you and you don't open it, you don't give other people the chance to do it, then that's selfish.
Yeah.
We can't be selfish. Everything that we're learning, we got to share with other people, man. Each one, teach one.
Absolutely.
Last thing, if you have any questions, DM us on Instagram. Continual growth. Okay? Other than that, like we always say, kill every day and own your fucking life. Bless up.